So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining Power from Chainsaw Man in detail, from who she is as a character all the way down to her abilities. With Power being a fan favourite and a breath of fresh air in the crazy world of Chainsaw Man, I'm sure loads of you have been waiting for me to do a video on her. And just a heads up, I did a poll quite a few months back on my community tab, like I usually do to decide the next character I'll cover on the channel, but this video's taken quite some time to come out, so when this goes live another poll will be up to decide which character I cover next after Himeno, since she's coming straight after Power. So I guess in the comment section of my videos from now on, just comment what kind of other videos you want to see, whether that be on certain groups, devils, contracts, theories, whatever it is. But if you ever want me to touch upon certain characters, just keep an eye out for the polls. But who is Power, what is she capable of, and what part does she play in the world of Chainsaw Man? Let's find out. Also, a quick disclaimer, this video will contain spoilers for the entirety of Chainsaw Man, so keep that in mind before proceeding with the video. Though I'll try not to talk about any information that doesn't strictly relate to Power. And if this is your first time seeing one of my Chainsaw Man videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you always stay in the loop. And if you want to check out any other videos, you can check out some of the ones in the description down below. Power is first introduced us in the series as the Fiend that is going to be partnered up with Denji in Special Division 4. With Power being a Fiend, that means that she initially started out as a devil and ended up taking over the corpse of a human, which her current appearance is based on, with the addition of distinct devil features being the horns, teeth and eyes, indicating the fact that she's a fiend and not human. She's our first real insight into, I guess, the middle ground between full-on devils and hybrids, and I guess the thing that really comes as striking during her introduction is the fact she doesn't really have any loyalty or bias towards humans or devils. She doesn't like humans due to her innate devil instinct, and she doesn't like devils either, which makes her come across as an outlier with the potential to play both sides, although that was only for a very brief period of time during the series. When Power was formerly a devil, she was the Blood Devil, which embodies the fear of blood. Power was very feared as the Blood Devil, which is understandable since she would embody the fear of blood, so naturally even as a fiend she is very strong and not a pushover. So her abilities are centered around using and manipulating her blood to fight, which I'll get into shortly. But to describe Power, especially early on in the series, she's extremely selfish and childish. Power doesn't really care about others and is only interested in protecting herself, so in short she's a narcissist. We see her using others for her own gain on various occasions, and she's also a coward, which definitely makes her tough to deal with. However, while saying this, Power is a very likable character, and as the story progresses we see that she changes in various ways and comes to value her relationships with those who are close to her, being Denji and Aki, and she's pretty much the little sister out of the group. But with that being said, let me start getting into Power's abilities. Since Power is a fiend, she has the typical abilities associated with being a fiend, meaning she can regenerate any injuries or wounds she sustains through consuming blood. However, in contrast to hybrids, Power is semi-immortal, not fully immortal, so she can be killed if she's decapitated or cut in half. But regardless of this, we've seen that Power is very sturdy and can take quite a beating when it comes to battle. She fights by creating weapons from her blood, such as hammers and spears for example, and she can power up significantly after drinking or absorbing blood from other devils. When this happens, Power's horns increase in size, and she becomes not only stronger but much more fierce, hence why Makima makes Power drain her blood periodically. And with the only instance where we actually saw the direct effects of Power's enhancements due to a massive intake of blood, she literally sent Denji flying up to the ceiling with one punch, which honestly speaks for itself. Outside of her blood related abilities, Power also has a higher sense of smell and she's pretty agile, though more times she's using her agility and speed to flee from battle rather than to actually fight. Which is a shame since Power is actually a decent fighter, as seen by the steps her and Denji took to fight Kishibe. Her blood manipulation abilities are rather versatile, and she can also manipulate others' blood, although it's much harder to do, as we saw with Aki and Himeno, as well as causing her blood to run amok inside of others, preventing regeneration in the case of devils, fiends or hybrids, though this application was only seen through Denji using a chainsaw made from her blood. Although Power's abilities to manipulate blood are rather handy and versatile, due to her abilities revolving around her manipulating her blood and using it in battle, this can be a double-edged sword at times given the fact devils use blood to activate certain abilities. Power would be using more than others given her skill set, which makes her more likely to be anemic, which can leave her defenseless and weakened if she can't consume any more blood. And as I mentioned earlier, since Power is a fiend, her abilities are much weaker than when she was just a blood devil. However, Power is one of the few fiends in the series that are able to undergo full devil transformation. So during the Control Devil arc, we see Power consuming Pochita and reviving in her true Blood Devil form, and once transformed, Power's overall fighting capabilities and strength increases drastically. In addition to her normal fighting style of creating weapons from her blood, she is able to manifest said weapons inside of her enemies' bodies, which is very powerful. And her Thousand Terror Blood Rain technique allows her to instantly spawn weapons above her that she can redirect however she wants, which works as an insane AoE attack, and was a good testimony to how powerful power could be if she wasn't a fiend and was just a blood devil again. So after going through all of Power's abilities, I think it's safe to say that she is definitely one of the most versatile devils in Chainsaw Man. And I did the video the other day where I did Rika's the strongest people in Chainsaw Man, only in regards to the devil hunters, and I was mentioning the fact that due to her skill set and the way she actually fights, manipulating blood and being able to mess up other people's blood, stop regeneration, etc., I definitely think she's one of the more powerful devils, even though she's a fiend right now. But if she was in her full blood devil form at all times, I feel like she'd be able to give a lot of hybrids and other devils or people in general a run for their money, just due to the fact that she can manipulate people's blood and prevent them from fighting. I kind of see it like blood bending from Avatar, and I feel like it'd be really useful and it'd be cool if we could get expanded on in the future, if Fujimoto ever decides to bring Power back and go that route. But with that being said, we come to the end of the video, and I hope I did a good job explaining Power. So if you did enjoy the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Chainsaw Man content. And let me know who you want to see explained next after Himeno, since she's going to be coming straight after Power. Chainsaw Man should be airing a day or two from when you see this video, so be sure to smash that like button, as it will let me know that you guys want to see more Chainsaw Man content on the channel. And if you're new to my channel and this is the first Chainsaw Man video you ever seen from me, there's loads more videos that you can check out. I'm going to leave the link to the playlist down below. It should be appearing on your screen as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.